welcome to Monday afternoon at Greystone Carving Studio. My name's Henry, and what we do on a Monday afternoon is do a little demo. The last few weeks, as those of you who've been watching know, that we've been doing an acanthus leaf, or an acanthus leaf as it would be on a Corinthian capital, we've got to a point where we're kind of just finishing off now. So I'll show you that in a minute. In the meantime, what I wanted to show you was this isn't it, and I'm not. It's not the right sound. It's not the right tone for. I've got a client who wants a bell or a piece of stone that rings like a bell. He's a bell ringer, and he's commissioned me to make him a bell. I actually originally was going to carve him a bell out of stone, but my idea was to have more like a natural shape. I mean, this is the beginning of one of them, but I'm going to go to a quarry and get another piece of stone, a harder bit of Portland. This is it ringing. And as you can hear, it's slightly dissonant, and it started off as a bigger cylinder, and it was a much lower sound and much less dissonant. So in working it, I've kind of changed the tone of it. So I'm going to go to a quarry and get another piece of material, try and get a harder bit of Portland. Now, I spoke to a friend of mine, a Scottish friend of mine, Tom, who is a conservator, and we were talking about it. I was trying to pick his brains, and he said, try a bit of igneous stone, because it's kind of it's less porous, there's less. So I cut a piece of granite, and this is a piece of granite, and I thought, well, maybe let's have a try. Maybe we'll try, and strangely enough, it's dead as a doornail. Bonk. It doesn't ring, not even a little bit. And I know Portland, if you get a big enough bit of Portland, it rings. It's beautiful, and it rings. But you think with it being denser, but there's no resonance, it doesn't vibrate. Bonk. So there you go. So that was an experiment for the morning. I cut up a piece of granite from a gravestone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue working it and see what comes out of it. And I'm doing that with a punch, with a soft tungsten tipped punch and a lump hammer. And I'm just playing with it. So I was having a go at that this morning whilst and before that I cleared the workshop up so it looked presentable for this, and then I had a crack at this. So we've got to a point now where the carving, the majority of the carving's done. It's a bit scrappy at the moment. I'll go over it again. But what I want to do now is make it wet, and then rub it up a bit, and then when it's wet it carves in a slightly different way, and I will after it's been rubbed up, I will then put a chisel to it again, and then we'll kind of call this exercise quits. Maybe I'll go over just a reminder of what I did was. So this started off as a piece of stone that thick. I took a check out of here, and then I applied a template to it, and then and then I carved down either side, and then pushed this down a bit, and then put the template on, and then went round all round the outside, boom, 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 boom. So it was already down here, so you already had that shape, and then went round all round the outside, all round the outside here. I'd carved that before, and then I went down the central front of the leaves. Oh, previously I drilled these holes, so you can get the overs and unders, and then carved. After carving all that, carved the leaves down, and then kind of finally finished it off. Finished off the leaves this morning, and now what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure that was hugely. I hope you followed that. Anyway, so I'm using a 60 diamond pad. Might be an 80. 60 diamond pad. And I also would use carborundum as well. I might grab a bit of carborundum.
Will that take out all the tool marks, or just?
Well, I'm not sure I want to take out all the tool marks. It can do. It depends. It would. This would. Oh, this is stuff used in. I discovered it. A student of mine's husband works on does body work for cars, and this particular stuff. And I can't remember what it's called, but it is for body work for cars, and it's wonderful. It's very cheap, cheaper than diamond, and you can go through the grades, and it's more robust than wet and dry. And it's very useful. And this is a P80, and it does take the tool marks out. But what I wanted to do is just go over it and wet it more than anything, rub it up a bit, and then what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to put the tool marks back in. And I'll put them back in wet. I mean, we'll have a look at it actually. Maybe not. Maybe not. It's quite handsome without the tool marks. But there's some things about this carving that I'm not 100% happy with, so I'll go over it. Be interested in what you think. Whether, I mean, I think normally you'd leave the tool marks in, or you'd put the tool marks in, because it catches the light. I know that. I used to watch a guy, I'm not going to say his name, a guy who used to do the most beautiful stiff leaf, but it sometimes, not all the time, and occasionally he was so good at it, but occasionally it looked a bit like it was extruded, because it was so smooth and it was so beautiful. It looked like it kind of came out of a toothpaste kind of tube. It was, but I mean, they were beautifully done. But maybe it's an excuse for me. But I like kind of the tool mark looking a bit rough. I like it. I like it looking a bit rough. Not rough, but I mean a bit of texture to it. I think that's a better way of saying it. A bit of texture to it. So okay, I'm gonna just put that up there like that. Yeah, there you go. So there you go. That's carefully put them all away somewhere safe. So, I mean, yeah. So let's have a look. So I quite, what does that say? Oh, thank you, Janella, that's great. It's there. I'll grab some sort of chisels and have a look at it. So there's something rather pleasant about working. Do I move it over to a dry banker? What were we going to say?
Take the bucket away.
I'll move. Actually, I'll just move the stone because this banker's wet. Get it off there. I think we put some light on it. Got this thing. I tried to take a stock frame earlier on, and I'm usually happy with it. Right. What can I see that I want to change? Okay. So there is something slightly different about carving Portland wet, which I quite like. It's kind of, I mean, not sopping wet, but, you know, it's just, so I'm kind of leaving some tool marks in it. Quite handsome. So this is kind of just finishing. So actually, you know, what I would do is to finish this all off. And I'm finding my way with it really, and it's just to go around the whole lot like this, and it would just make it kind of crisp.
Janelle asks, have you visited the Dunmore pineapple?
No, my mother has, and she's done some pictures of it as well. It's been, yeah, no, it's one of those insane bits of architecture that I you know, is fascinating. It's Victorian or Edwardian, isn't it? If I'm thinking of the same thing that you're thinking of, it might be something completely different. I'm thinking, yeah, it's it's either a national trust or a
Landmark Trust.
Landmark Trust. It's Landmark Trust, yes. Landmark Trust, because they went up there and stayed in it. I think my mum's birthday. There we go. I think it's that kind of thing that makes all the difference. Can you see that? I've done so little to it, but it just makes it pop. It just kind of like, I've done so little to it. So actually, I'm going to need to go all the way around once more, finish it off, and just be, can you, because look, that line ends there, and actually to make it work, I want to push that line there. And what I might do, so coming from that centre frond or whatever it's called, whatever it is. I wonder whether you want me to carry on. What I might do is stop, and then later on in the week set up a stop frame thing so it makes me look really speedy, and then post that, and I'll set it up properly because yeah, and I'll go over the whole thing because there's some lines that I don't like I don't like what's happened here, and I can push these lines again. And also I've noticed that this is slightly, yeah, I've got stone here to play with. This is deeper than this, so I'm gonna, in the process of recarving these lines, I will deepen this a bit. And but yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop there, and then I'll do a whole stop frame of the whole kit and caboodle and make sure it's all in shot and all nicey, and I'll look really speedy, and it'll look like I'm doing an air gun all the way around. I think that's probably sensible, rather than I mean, it's maybe a kind of combination of worrying that you'll get bored and my self-consciousness. So what I'm going to do is sort of, how long have we been going? Not long, I don't think I've got anything else in the workshop that I really want to or can show you. What news have we got? No, we've started, as I might have mentioned last week, we started sending out invites for veterans to come and work on carving the sand motif on the plinth of the Desert Rats memorial to go up at the National Arboretum. I mentioned that last week, and so I kind of plug the Desert Rats and say that they are, if you want a charity to give money to, they're doing nice things with that, and I think that's about it. I'm running out. We got. Seen this? Do you show them the gadget?
Yep.
Show them the gadget. This is a gadget. This is like a super duper selfie stick with light and everything. So this is what I'll do the stop frame thing with. Right. Okay. All right. Thanks everybody, and thanks very much for watching. Have a lovely week. Stay safe and all that, and look after yourselves and everybody around you. So. Cheers, thanks for watching.